This is a GCSE revision video on In Paris With You by James Fenton. And the poem goes, "Don't talk to me of love. I've had an earful and I get tearful when I've downed a drink or two. I'm one of your talking wounded, I'm a hostage, I'm marooned, but I'm in Paris with you. Yes, I'm angry at the way I've been bamboozled. I'm resentful at the mess I've been through. I admit I'm on the rebound, and I don't care where I'll rebound, I'm in Paris with you. Do you mind if we do not go to the Louvre, if we say sod off to sodding Notre Dame, if we skip the Champs-Élysées and remain here in this sleazy old hotel room, doing this and that, to what and whom, learning who you are, learning what I am? Don't talk to me of love, let's talk of Paris, the little bit of Paris in our view. There's that crack across the ceiling and the hotel walls appealing, and I'm in Paris with you. Don't talk to me of love, let's talk of Paris. I'm in Paris with the slightest thing you do. I'm in Paris with your eyes, your mouth. I'm in Paris with all points south. Am I embarrassing you? I'm in Paris with you." So what's it all about? The speaker in this poem has just experienced the breakdown of a previous relationship and is now in Paris with someone else. He doesn't want to enjoy the city, but he wants to live in the moment and stay in the hotel room. The first two 5-line stanzas detail the build-up to the couple being in Paris, and that's his kind of rebound and his breakup from his previous relationship. The 9-line indented stanza in the middle acts like a chorus and changes the tone of the poem, and the final two 5-line stanzas, mirroring the first two, detail the present moment and what the couple are experiencing now. The poem is lyrical, it uses lots of wordplay, and this generates humour. And the poem is addressed to the lover and written in the first person. It uses colloquial language and talks about love as an everyday thing, rather than writing about love in a poetic, romantic way that you will see in other poems in the anthology. So "Don't talk to me of love" is the first phrase in the poem. It's a very strong statement, and it's unconventional for a poem about relationships to begin this way. There's a colloquial tone which continues throughout, and that means you're using slang and you're using language that you would do in everyday speech, and this contributes to making the conversation between the narrator and his lover seem more realistic. So words like earful, downed, they all seem very colloquial, as if you use them in everyday conversation. Talking wounded, this refers to the expression walking wounded, which means someone who is injured but can walk away from an accident. And so it's a pun, and it's suggesting that this poem might not be intended seriously. And this continues with things like "I'm marooned" in the next line. "I'm a hostage" suggests that the speaker feels trapped and hurt as a result of his experience and the breakdown of his relationship. And there's comic wordplay on marooned to kind of force the rhyme with wounded. "I'm in Paris with you." Paris is the city of love, and this seems ironic considering the speaker's circumstances and the fact that he doesn't talk very favourably of love. The repetition of this phrase throughout the poem creates the song-like feel, and this is continued at the end of most of the stanzas, 4 out of 5 of them. So this is a comic way to describe his hurt, bamboozled. It doesn't seem very serious when he says it, but he is at least being honest with his new lover. So words like resentful, I admit, I don't care. He's at least being honest. There's no pretense here that he wants to be in love with this person. He'd still get hurt from his previous relationship. I don't care where I'll rebound. This is awkward phrasing to fit with the metrical pattern and rhyme scheme, and it's almost as if he is anticipating the lover's question. So what is this? Where are we going? And he seems to be answering that even before it's asked. And the repeated line, as mentioned earlier, acts as a refrain. So this is the 9-line stanza that's in the middle of the poem. It's indented, and that sets it apart from the other stanzas a little bit. They're in Paris, and he is rejecting the traditional landmarks and romantic sites of the city. So the Louvre is a very, very famous art gallery where the Mona Lisa is kept. Notre Dame is the big cathedral in Paris in the centre, and the Champs-Élysées is the main shopping street, sort of equivalent to London's Oxford Street for Paris. These are very, very traditional emblems of Paris, and he's rejecting all of the tradition, all of the romantic sites of the city. Instead, he wants to stay in a sleazy old hotel room. So this is colloquial and comic. The forced rhyme between sleazy and Élysée could indicate that he's forcing himself into this rebounded relationship as well. The fact that he's booked an old hotel room implies a lack of care. There's no luxury here, and this extends later on in the stanza where he's saying doing this and that to what and whom. It implies a lack of care. It's very vague, but it can also be seen as euphemistic. And learning who you are confirms that he doesn't know his current partner very well. Learning what I am is interesting because the word what is different from the word who, which is what you would maybe expect to see in that sentence, and it suggests that he has some self-doubt and that his confidence might have been knocked by the breakdown of his previous relationship. So the fourth stanza, don't talk to me of love, this was a repeated phrase from the beginning, we're back to his mindset, but then the next sentence seems to change the subject slightly, let's talk of Paris. And he talks about the crack across the ceiling and the hotel walls appealing. These are the things that he remembers and experiences of Paris, and it's not the touristy, romanticised version that you might see in films or books. If there's a crack in the ceiling, it implies that he's lying on his back to see it, and therefore it's euphemistic of the activities that he might be getting up to, and the hotel walls appealing could reflect his emotional state. Don't talk to me of love, it's a repeated structure, song-like and repetitive. I am in Paris with the slightest thing you do, and that's anaphora of that statement, so repeated repetition at the beginning of a phrase, I'm in Paris with, and there's a sense of understanding of the present moment. So he's now starting to be aware of the person that's in front of him rather than the person he's been focusing on through his breakdown. I'm in Paris with your eyes, your mouth. He's emphasising the physical features, and there's ellipsis and euphemism, and this suggests exactly what he is after by being in this hotel room. However, you could ask the question, is there a genuine attraction for him because he's starting to pay attention to his lover? And the rhetorical question, am I embarrassing you? Does he now care about the lover's feelings? This is the first question that he's openly asked to his lover, and it's moving away from the self-centred nature of earlier stanzas, perhaps suggesting that there's a recovery process to this rebound, and being in Paris is part of it.